Okay, I've been I've been waiting for a long time. I've been checking the news ever since 9 p.m. just in case they did it early, because obviously we're getting a weird day to do maintenance. I don't know if this is going to be the same going forward every time now, if we're going to be getting maintenance on Thursdays from now on, which means that the news for me would be 3 a.m. right now on a Wednesday. So yeah, apparently they are going to be doing maintenance. Oh, this maintenance time is not my friend here. I hate this so much. To the devs, if you see this, I don't like this. I don't know why you would change our maintenance time to the same time that they do theirs, because obviously they're in a different part of the world than us. I already hated 3 a.m. patches because then, you know, whatever. But now for me, this is going to be a 6 a.m. patch, and that is just awful. That is absolutely awful. I hate that. I would much prefer it to be way earlier in the day, like 9 p.m. or something like that would be fantastic for me, which would be 6 p.m. PDT, or even just do it at midnight or something. I don't know, but this is just atrocious. I hate this. Sorry. Anyways, let's hop in here because I've been waiting a while for this. Obviously, we are getting Chapter 2 of the Ragnarok storyline, because this is going to be the second patch for Ragnarok. So we are getting Chapter 2. We are getting 2 new characters, which are Princess Brunhild. I said it in the live stream like highlight thing, but they changed her name from Brynhildr to Brunhild. I don't know if that's just because of a translation thing or what. And then we're also getting a Ragnarok version of Deanne, which is actually really interesting because she does more damage depending on how many buffs she removes from her passive proccing, which is pretty cool. I think that she's definitely got a decent place in the meta at the moment. So if you want her, feel free. If not, I know that this banner and the next banner are probably going to be skip banners, considering the fact that we're literally going to have a live stream in roughly like 4 hours where they're going to be going over a new festival, Gother, more than likely, that is supposed to be coming out on JP pretty much tomorrow for their patch. So don't know if I can really recommend you summon on the banner or not, because obviously things are kind of up in the air. There's probably more important stuff coming, so I don't know. I really want Brynhildr because I'm a very big PvE player, so I think that she's going to be very beneficial for my account personally, and if I get Deanne along the way, fantastic. Anyway, there is going to be demonic beast battles getting added, which means that we're getting the bird boss, which is going to be a huge pain for a lot of accounts, because a lot of players, I don't think are going to be nearly ready enough for this. I feel like a lot of newer players are going to want to try to jump into this as soon as they have access to it, and it's not going to go well, because this is supposed to be one of the end-all be-all sort of game modes to the game, I guess. It's supposed to be very, very hard, very in the game content. So just be aware if you're a newer player and maybe you're just now getting to the point to where whenever this patch goes live, if you have access to this and you can't beat it, obviously you may need to try to find some sort of team that works. I know that a lot of the units and stuff like that are very kind of niche almost. A lot of the units aren't what you would expect them to be, and a lot of the times for they kind of need to be wailed on. You need really good equipment for them. You need them to be pretty high ult levels and stuff like that to beat some of the later stages and everything. So it's supposed to be very, very hard, which I don't know whether or not that's a good thing or not yet, but that is going to be your main way, which they're adding new holy relics to the game, which if you don't know is basically a system where they're adding it's almost like a weapon that you craft for each character, and they're only doing select characters within each patch, and it's basically just going to be a weapon that you craft that gives your character almost like a second passive, which is very, very interesting. I think that this mechanic has a lot of potential to sort of bring back older units that aren't really that viable in PvP and stuff like that. So it should, in theory, be very good for the health of the game, but at the same time, they're very hard and very time consuming to make. Obviously, you have to run this really, really hard game mode to get a lot of the materials for it, and it can take weeks of grinding, because this boss battle thing is going to be a weekly event sort of thing that goes on. I think you can only run it and get rewards from it once per week. I'm not exactly sure how that works just yet, but they may go into that a little bit more in detail. So yeah, anyway, Ragnarok Fate of the Gods Chapter 2 quest and side stages have been added, so obviously there's going to be a bunch of new quests and everything like that for the storyline for Ragnarok, which is nice. I'm assuming we're going to be able to get the 30 gems for that. I don't necessarily know. I can't remember if we've already been able to claim the Chapter 1 rewards or not. I don't think we have, but if it's anything like the regular story, normally when they add the next chapter, you can get the 30 diamond reward for fully completing the previous chapter whenever they release the next one. So hopefully that's the case. I can't remember if we've already got those gems or not. I don't think we have, but I could just be mistaken there. More stories from Grimnir's book, which is basically just like a small little thing that you can do to get diamonds. I'm pretty sure they're just like small stories that you kind of watch, and you see the characters interact with some of the Ragnarok characters and stuff. And it's just like small little like bits of lore and like backstory to the whole Ragnarok storyline and everything, which is pretty cool if you're into that. It looks like we are getting related achievements. Clear Ragnarok episode 49. You're going to get 3 diamonds for that. Use the World Tree Tower Exchange Shop Earth. I think that's new, because I think the one that we already have, the Exchange Shop, is not the Earth one. I'm not sure on that completely. But this may be a whole new exchange shop, which is kind of interesting. So obviously 5, 10, 30, and 30, 50, and 100 times that you exchange stuff in the shop, you're going to get some gold and some achievement points out of that, which is kind of nice. Unlock demonic beast battle after clearing episode 237, encouraging growth. So as long as you've beat up to this point in the actual story, you're going to be able to actually access the demonic beast battles, and I guess you're going to get an achievement for that. So anybody who's already caught up with the story and everything like that is basically going to get a free diamond already. But if you haven't beat up to that point, just keep working on it. You'll get to it eventually. And then the last one is clear floor 3 of Hrazvelger's Nest. That's the bird's name, is Hrazvelger. It's really hard for me to read stuff like that, because Norse or whatever kind of mythology this is from is not my strong suit. But you have to beat it 5 times and you get 3 diamonds out of that. Floor 3, if you don't know, is the hardest difficulty, and there's only like 2 players in the whole world who have actually been able to beat this so far. So very cool. But yeah, here's the 2 new characters. Obviously this is actually not a giant Deanne, so this picture almost is a little misleading. She's not actually a giant in this. She's actually the smaller Deanne, but her ult is actually pretty interesting, because it actually in the ult animation, it turns her into a giant using Merlin's help, which is, I think, a really cool mechanic. So I really like this Deanne. I think she's pretty interesting, and she, like I said, she actually is going to be able to compete somewhat in the meta at the moment, which is pretty hard to do considering how like hectic the meta is. So we obviously have those 2 characters. Brynhildr is honestly my favorite of the 2, just because, like I said, I'm a PvE player, but she basically has a Power Strike card, which is going to be very important for the new bird boss. Power Strike is basically the like must-have skill type, so if you have her or Sariel, they're both like top tier units for it. And then she also has a Detonate card. I don't know if why I'm circling one or the other. I don't know which one's which at this point, but yeah. And then her ult has something to do with increases damage dealt, and then her passive is, I think you get like a 12% increase to your stats or something like that, depending on how many characters you have on your team that are still alive. So I think there could be some interesting potential to pair her with the Green Arthur, because he has somewhat of a similar passive, I think. So they could be like, honestly, like a dynamic duo for tackling PvE content, which I think is really interesting. I haven't looked too much into the Deanne, so I don't necessarily know what her skills do. But I know that her passive is like she can take off like a maximum of 3, I think, debuffs or 3 buffs from the enemy, and depending on how many of them she removes, I think she deals an extra 40% damage dealt with her attack. which is pretty good, because not only are you, like, if you're going against Margaret, for example, not only are you going to remove her buffs, but for each one that you remove, you deal more damage. So she's getting buffs taken away from her, which is going to make her take more damage, and then you're dealing more damage because you took them away, which is very, very interesting. Obviously, we've got like a little sort of graphic here. We are getting a spin event, which is kind of nice. I do like the spin events. They're probably my favorite out of the events. We have the ghost leg one going on right now, which I absolutely hate. It's like so tedious and boring, and it's time consuming, and you get the least amount of rewards from it, in my opinion. But yeah, they are going to be running a diamond perks event as well, which means that I'm pretty sure it's a 600 gym mileage thing. So this banner is going to be a 600 mileage, so you have to go all the way to the 600 mark to get a guaranteed copy of either of the characters. You can choose between the two, and if you go through an entire rotation, you'll basically be able to acquire all of the perks and rewards from this diamond perks event. So basically what it is as you spend more diamonds while the event is going on, you'll reach different milestones and get rewarded for spending diamonds. It's normally their way of like baiting people out of spending the diamonds that they have, so that way they can turn around and come out with a big new banner that you don't have diamonds for now because you spent them, and you'll need to either purchase them or grind a whole bunch of stuff out, whatever the case may be. Basically just like a money making tactic, which is a little scummy, but it is what it is. That's just how these work. Anyway, like I said, those are the things that we just went over. New content, which is Hrasvelgur's Nest. Hrasvelgur. I need to figure out how to pronounce that better. New regular battle content to acquire holy relic materials, unlocked after blah blah blah. So it is going to have a new section on the menu, which is interesting. So it looks like the menu is actually getting one thing longer now, and the final boss actually will be at the bottom instead of where the creature nest is now, which is kind of interesting. I don't know what this fate stone thing is either. So set party, choose up to 4 heroes via the set party button. These heroes will be selected to battle against all the stages of the demonic beast battle. Confirm your party of heroes via the save button. Your party's hero info, equipment info, and artifact card settings will be saved once you press the save button. You may change your heroes after they have been saved via the reset button. When reset, your current demonic beast battle progress will reset, and you will start over from the first floor. So this is kind of like the old Tower of Trials thing that they used to do, where you would normally, with Tower of Trials, when they were doing the old format where you had to beat through 25 floors, it used to be where you basically make a team, and then you would set that team, and then you would try to go through the whole thing, and if you didn't make it to one of the 5 or the multiples of 5 floors, like if you didn't make it to 5, 10, 15, 20, etc., you wouldn't be able to, if you changed your team at that point, it would set you back down to the nearest multiple of 5, I guess. I don't know how to explain it any better than that, but basically you make a team and you have to use that team, or else it's like if you make it to floor 2 and you reset because your team's not working out, it's basically going to reset you back down to floor 1. So you have to make sure that your team is the one that you want to use, basically. When you clear a stage, your remaining HP and the demonic beast's accumulative passive effects will be transferred to the next stage. Defeated heroes cannot participate in the next stage. So if you lose a hero while playing the first stage, for example, like if 2 of my people die and I barely scrape by with 2 of them left, when I start floor 2, those are the only 2 heroes that are going to be alive. So it's very essential that you have a team that can sort of heal and be able to tackle multiple floors using the same HP that they were already on. So it's going to be really tough and really interesting. So these are the rewards, it looks like. I guess we're going to get whatever these token things are for each of them, and you'll get more depending on what floor you beat. Whatever these little crystal things are, it looks like they go up in multiples of 2 depending on what floor you're on. And then these are the just regular drop rate items. It doesn't matter which one you beat. These are going to be like random drop rates, I think. So I'm not sure exactly which ones you're going to get when you beat a stage. It's just kind of, like I said, it's a drop chance. So I don't know, it's going to be a little bit different for everybody, I think, and these are super essential for making holy relics, so we'll see how that goes. The demonic beast will be given a random passive effect during certain phases. These effects will stack and continue through the following phases or stages. After clearing a stage, the same effect from the previous stage will be given to the next stage boss. Okay, so obviously it basically just gets progressively harder because he gets more and more passive effects on him, I assume. Demonic beast battle resets every Monday at 12 a.m. PDT, which is 3 a.m. That's on like the daily reset. When reset, your previous stage progress will reset, and first time stage clear rewards will be available to acquire again. So I guess each time you beat the thing, you'll get this reward again at the end of the week. So that's kind of nice, I guess. I don't know. I feel like a lot of the time it's very hard for me to learn how to do some of this stuff from the text. I kind of just have to get hands-on with it. But if this is helping you, hopefully it is, because I'm reading it all. First time stage clear rewards will also be available if a fate stone is used, regardless of the weekly reset. We are planning to announce the location where you can acquire fate stones in a separate notice. So if I'm not mistaken, I think they were talking about this in one of the dev leaks or something like that. They were trying to make some sort of item that you would be able to use in PvE content that would sort of boost your character's stats or just be able to help you fight PvE content a little bit easier. So I don't think that these are even a thing in the game at the moment, but they already have the area where you can use them. But I guess those will be introduced in a future update. So that's really interesting. So Holy Relics system is also getting added. Holy Relics give special effects to registered heroes. You can find out which heroes have Holy Relics you can register by tapping on the Holy Relics icon in the hero list. So basically it's like a fourth cosmetic slot. We already actually have this tab in the game. You can actually go to it, actually you can't go to it. It's not there, but they have the UI sort of built to where literally it can just be added in whenever they drop the update. But you can see you need different kinds of materials to actually build each of the holy relics for each character, and then it gives you a second passive when you have that relic crafted. So it's very interesting, and each of them is normally in like the form of a weapon slot, which actually most of them are very original to each character, and they look very, very good in my opinion. I think they did a really good job with that. But yeah, so I'm hoping they already have a list for the characters already on here. They do. Okay, so it looks like we're getting the exact same list that they did for the first ones for JP and Korea. So Purgatory Bond is already getting one, which I think is the most controversial. The one Escanor already has one as well on JP and Korea, which I don't like. I really wish they would have held off and did the festival units last, because I think they're the ones that need it the least, but it is what it is, I guess. So each one of them has their own effect, which is some of them are really, really interesting. Some of them are obviously not as good as others are, but it just depends on, if you use that character, if you think it would help enough to actually, make them viable on your team, etc. So Bond has one where it increases the hero's max HP by 15% each time an ally dies, which is very, very good for him because he uses max HP as his main stat for attacking and stuff like that, for dealing damage, that is. Regular Brawler Bond, I think this is. Yeah, Brawler Bond increases the hero's damage dealt to enemies by 25%, so that's literally just a flat out damage increase. Nunchuck Bond, if a critical strike occurs from the hero's attack on an enemy, the hero's attack is increased by 10%, limit of 5 times, so it can go all the way up to 50%, which is pretty interesting. This is Snake Lilia, like the Awakened Lilia, increases the hero's basic stats by 10% for every debuff effect on the enemy, limit of 5 times. So obviously her whole thing is she kind of gives out corrosion at the beginning of the turn, and I don't think she really does any more debuffs other than that, but you normally run her with not the Purgatory Bond, the Winged King team or something similar to that, so you're going to be putting a lot of debuffs on the characters, I feel like, so that could potentially be very good. Regular Mage Lilia, the hero recovers 15% of diminished HP when a debuff is removed from the hero. So that's pretty interesting as well. Twiggo's is pretty good. Applies an effect on the hero for 2 turns, which increases HP related stats by 30% and taunts enemies at the start of the battle. So as soon as he enters onto the battlefield, he basically taunts for 2 turns, gets a lot more HP, so he becomes a lot tankier, and you know, you have to hit him because he's taunting. So it's a really interesting mechanic there. Jillian got one. The hero recovers 20% of their max HP at the start of the ally's turn if the hero takes damage. I'm not necessarily crazy about that one. I don't think it's all that good because, I mean, she's really like a backslot unit anyway, just like Twiggo or Alioni would be. But I don't really think that's really that good. Alioni's is pretty good. Decreases the hero's damage taken from enemies by 40%, which is pretty nuts because his stance already makes it to where he takes less damage from attacks and stuff like that. So if you pair that with his stance, he could be like an ultra tank, which would be insane. But those are like, that's pretty much going to be the first wave of them coming out. I'm pretty sure they've already done one for like base Escanor, the one Escanor, and a couple of other characters within the next couple of patches that they did on JP and Korea. So we'll kind of have to wait and see when they come to the global servers. Materials used for crafting may differ based on holy relics and hero races. So if I'm not mistaken, I think the rarity of the character also has something to do with how expensive the relic is that you have to make. So that's something that you kind of have to take into account. And then here's where you get all of the different materials. So you could kind of see in this picture right here, these little like pizza slices, these little triangles. They almost look like little like paper planes. I didn't mean to hit the mic, but they need these little crystals, the cubes, and then these little pizza slices. But it looks like you actually get the pizza slice triangle things from the world tree, which is kind of nice. So you don't actually have to fight any sort of, you know, beast battle for that. And then the rest of it does come from Hrosvelger's nest, which is the bird boss. So I think that they have started to slowly add these kind of materials into like final boss shops and different kinds of events and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily, even if you are like maybe a lower player or like a newer player and you can't fight the boss just yet, there are going to be different kinds of ways that you can get some of these from different events and stuff. So obviously you're going to get it a lot slower than people who can beat it, but that's just kind of the whole incentive of like working on your account and getting it up higher so that way you can actually participate in this kind of thing. Obviously the higher tier of PvP, where, you know, the big whales and people who can beat this content very easily are going to get these a lot faster, which I think is a very big negative, but hopefully that makes them on a much higher level, so that way, you know, the free-to-play players and stuff like that aren't going to have to deal with that sort of thing in the bracket that they're in. But obviously if you're, you know, free-to-play who's trying to play in like the top tiers of PvP, I think it's going to be really tough if you go against a lot of people who maybe have the Purgatory Bond relic or whatever the case may be. They are adding new costumes for each of the characters, of course. I'm pretty sure we get a free costume from the spin event for Deanne, which is kind of nice. But obviously Brynhilde is a PvE unit, so I don't necessarily know that you would need to buy her outfits. I might buy one of them just because I like her as a character, but we'll see how that goes. And I also really like this outfit for Deanne, so I don't know, I may get it, I don't know yet. But anyway, so new costumes for those characters. They're obviously adding a bunch of ticket bundles and diamond bundles and etc. for the new update, which is, you know, obviously that's something that they do with a lot of them. Chapter 2 celebration or release celebration bundles and diamond shop bundles, so that's what they just, you know, showed in this picture here. September Hawk Pass and exchange shop. So this September Hawk Pass is actually a pretty interesting one because it has the 5th weapon for Margaret Ludociel, which is very good. She has like her chef outfit or whatever, so if you really use Margaret a lot, you probably want to have your hawk points and everything like that ready for this, so that way you can go ahead, or if you don't, just, you know, try to get as many points out of the hawk pass as you can, so that way you can buy that outfit or that outfit piece for free instead of having to spend diamonds on it. Obviously that would be a huge plus. We have the next knighthood elite schedule announcement, so there's that if you need it. I honestly could care less probably. They haven't done any regular knighthood competition in a little bit, at least I've not been notified for my guild to participate, so I don't know when that's coming back around. System changes, deck composition and hero growth guide. So this is kind of interesting. I don't actually remember them doing this on JP or anybody talking about it per se. Maybe I just missed this, But I guess it shows like what teams and sort of compositions you could use for different sorts of content, which is kind of cool. It tells you what kind of gear you would maybe want to run on him. That's actually really, really cool. I think this is going to be super helpful for newer players because it says, you know, this is the #1 gear set people use on him is attack defense. Second top gear set is attack crit damage. Additional effectiveness, I don't exactly know what this is talking about, but recommended teams, this is the 5th most used team for Red Demon apparently, which is insane because that does not seem like a good team for Red Demon, honestly, but I guess it is what it is. For Belgius, the knighthood boss, it looks like this is the 4th best team. So this is honestly pretty cool. I kind of like this. I like that, you know, this whole thing is, you know, being implemented in, kind of cool. You can now find recommended equipment and can auto set your team for various battle modes via the set team option in the heroes menu. Recommended equipment, the heroes most frequently used equipment will be displayed with its set effects and equipment options. So I don't know. I'm not sure what this is, honestly. Maybe I'm just reading that wrong and I can't think straight, but yeah. Recommended team, so it shows you, you know, deathmatch, knighthood boss, etc., which is really, really cool, honestly. Artifact combat class filter. Combat class has been added to the filter option in the artifact cards menu. That's honestly pretty nice, so that way you can see which one is going to give you the most CC. They are adding 3 new floors to the Tower of Trials, which is kind of nice, so you'll be able to get these rewards if you beat each of those floors. Normal sort of text for their Tower of Trials stuff getting added, and then you're obviously going to be able to make UR gear for Brynhildr whenever she drops, so that's very nice. And then a bunch of the 1.5 anniversary stuff for global is going to be ending, so if you don't have Margaret or you don't have I don't know if Cusac's banner is actually leaving at this point or not. Maybe it is. Banner. Do we not see the banner? Or am I looking over it? The growth event for Cusack is definitely ending. I don't see the banner. I'm pretty sure Margaret's is definitely leaving. I don't know about Cusack's though. I think I'm just missing it. Oh, actually, I just don't think it's here. Either way, a lot of the 1.5 anniversary stuff is going to be ending. The events and etc. is going to be ending. So make sure if you don't have Margaret at this point, you're trying to grind out as many diamonds as you can to get that. I know that that's way easier said than done, but she is a very good unit, and I do recommend that you try to get her if possible. But that's pretty much it. I know this was a lot of stuff to go over, and I'm very weirded out by the fact that they're moving the maintenance times and maintenance day. Like I said, we don't know for sure if this is going to be the new standard. I hope it's not, because I'm so used to the old way, but if it is, I guess we'll get used to it and figure it out from there. So that's pretty much it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, I do appreciate it, because I mean, honestly, it's just me reading, so I don't imagine a lot of people really stick around this long, but if you did, thank you so much. Give me a little thumbs up emoji or something like that so I know you made it to the end of the video. But that's it from me. Thank you guys so much. Feel free to subscribe for more content in the future if you're not already subscribed, because we're going to be going over a lot of the events and, you know, Tower of Trials floors and everything like that whenever this patch drops. And yeah, see you then.